Hey guys, King of Charmanders here. Today I bring to you the best Mizutsune meta builds. All weapon types, dancing in the Tempest. This video covers the best builds for the Mizutsune weapons. I will also cover all the weapon types available for Mizutsune. So, Mizutsune has all weapon types, so we're gonna look at all of them. And Mizutsune are the most powerful water weapons in the meta as of right now. First, we're gonna take a look at the Mizutsune melee weapons versus the rest of the water monster types. Here we take a look at Mizutsune melee weapons versus the rest of the current water monster types, which are Koropuke, Gyrototis, and Great Jagras. As we see per the data, Mizutsune weapons are the strongest. Barely that much, but this is because of the Mizutsune weapons having that 20% affinity bonus at grade 10. However, like I mentioned before, there isn't a huge difference damage-wise unless it's comparing the Mizutsune weapons versus the Great Jagras weapons. That's because it's a whole whooping 18% better than the Great Jagras weapons. So, what weapon should you have? Well, it's either the Koropuke weapons or the Mizutsune weapons, with Mizutsune still being the strongest. Next up, we have the builds, starting off with the best Mizutsune melee build, number 1, Water Attack level 5. So this build is the best melee build from grade 5 all the way to grades 10. So from grades 5 to 10, this is the best build. This build can even be used at grade 10.5 if you want to, and you don't want to pivot to the next build, which is melee build number 2, which we're going to cover in a sec. This build provides the max level of water attack at level 5. Koropuke Helm provides lock-on, while Weakness Exploit level 2 and Critical Eye level 2 provide 40% affinity when attacking weak spots. That's 60% affinity total when attacking weak spots with the Mizutsune weapons at grade 10. So at grade 10 you get that 20%, add this all together, that's 60%. To use this build, you need the Mizutsune weapons at grade 10 or higher, from grade 5 to 10 or higher, as high as you can get it. Koropuke Helmet at grade 8, the Gyrototis Mail at grade 4, Gyrototis Fan Braces at grade 6, Pink Wrathing Coil at grade 6, and the Great Jagras Greaves at grade 6. Moving on, we have Water Attack level 5 versus Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate level 3. So you have the Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate, which is one of the new builds, and here we're going to compare them. As you see here, Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate level 3 barely beats the Water Attack level 5 build at grade 10.5. So it has to be maxed out, and even at maxed out, it's 0.54%. So it's heavily dependent on how much you crit for both of these builds. And like I mentioned, the Water level 5 build can actually overtake the Resuscitate one, and it just depends on which one crits, because you don't have 100% crit. However, the big asterisk of the Bubbly Dance and Resuscitate build is at lower levels, the Water Attack level 5 build is the standard. As you see right there, at 6.1, when you compare these two best builds, the Water Attack level 5 build is a whooping 41% better. 41%. In other words, it only beats it at max, and like I mentioned, that's really dependent on how the hunt goes, because it depends on which one crits first, etc. Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate level 3 also requires you to dodge and get used to moving under Bubble Blight status. So it's not as simple as, okay, you use this. No, your movement is improved, or it can be wonky. So it can work for you or against you when you're under Bubble Blight status. So unless you get used to that, it's still not going to be super effective, and it can move you away from targeting weak spots as well. So again, you have to adapt and get used to moving under Bubble Blight status and activating it so you can get Resuscitate damage as well. Overall, the Water Attack level 5 build is best if you don't want to have to adapt to the Bubble Blight mechanics. Since Water Attack is the meta all the way up to grade 10, if you don't want to change your mechanics, that's perfectly fine. And it's not like the Bubble Blight mechanics are ridiculously OP to begin with. With that being said, here's the best Mizutsune melee build, number 2, Bubbly Dance / Resuscitate level 3. And again, this build barely overtakes build number 1 and must be grade 10.5 max. So in order for this build to beat out build number 1, it must be max, and even then, it just really depends on how the hunt goes. This build gives you 20% bonus damage while you have Bubble Blight active. So how do you do this? This build requires you to dodge 3 times to activate Bubble Blight and adapt to moving around in a slippery state. So that slippery state isn't as easy as it looks to adapt to, and you have to get used to it if you're going to effectively use this build. The Puke helmet provides lock-on, while weakness exploit level 2 and critical eye level 2 provide 40% affinity when you attack weak spots, and that's 60% affinity total when attacking weak spots with the Mizutsune weapons at grade 10. To use this build, you must have a Mizutsune weapon at grade 10.5 max. The Puke helmet at grade 8, the Mizutsune mail at grade 6, Mizutsune vambraces at grade 6, Pink Rotting Coil at grade 6, and the Mizutsune Greaves at grade 6. Next up, we have the ranged weapons, starting off with the Light Bowgun. This is the Mizutsune Light Bowgun versus the rest of the water monster types. Here we take a look at Mizutsune Light Bowguns versus the rest of the current water monster types. You have Mizutsune, Puke, Gyrototis, and Great Jagras. As we see per the data, Mizutsune weapons are barely stronger than the Puke Light Bowgun. There is distinct differences between both, but I'm going to cover that next. And the Mizutsune weapons have a 20% affinity bonus versus the rest of the water elemental monster types, meaning if that affinity procs at any point during the battle, you will overtake the Puke weapons. And if you have the Puke Light Bowgun built, it works, so there's no need to build the Mizutsune Light Bowgun. So again, if you like Puke versus the Mizutsune one, there's nothing wrong with that. You could still use the Puke one, but the Mizutsune one is the strongest. And now this brings us into the best Mizutsune Light Bowgun build, which is water attack level 4, recoil down level 3, and reload speed level 3. So thanks to the release of the Mizutsune helmet, we now have another piece of water attack level 2 gear, and this allows you to get water attack level 4. This build maxes out recoil down level 3 and reload speed level 3 for maximum light bowgun damage per second. This build provides a high level water attack at level 4, and again that's thanks to the Mizutsune helmet, and slicing water ammo allows you to sever tails. You also have 3 sticky ammo and a fast reload with this build for extra stun ability. The difference between this one and the Puke light bowgun is that even though Puke has 4 sticky ammo, it's a slow reload in comparison to the Mizutsune light bowgun, which is a fast one when you have reload speed level 3. And Artful Dodger level 1 works well with the light bowgun's perfect dodge buff to reload instantly or +1 to your current ammo. So the Mizutsune weapon skill works perfectly with the light bowgun. To use this build, you need the Mizutsune light bowgun at grade 10 or as high as you have it, the Mizutsune helmet at grade 6, the Paolumu mail at grade 6, the Gyrototis vambraces at grade 6, Puke coil at grade 6, and the Azaratlos Greaves at grade 6. And last but not least, we have the water elemental monster type bow comparison. Here we take a look at the Mizutsune bow versus the rest of the water elemental bows. As we see per the data, the Mizutsune bow is barely better than the Puke bow. The Puke bow also has a special charge level for damage level, which is rapid level 3 at charge level 2, which is 1 blink. So you could just keep machine gunning rapid level 3 with 1 blink using the Puke bow. Fortunately, Mizutsune's does not have that. The Puke bow is perfectly fine and may be better for your liking due to the rapid and pierce combo. Mizutsune's spread shot type might not do it for you because you have to be up close and personal, so it's really up to you. And this moves us to the best Mizutsune bow build, which is focus level 5 and water attack level 4. Again, thanks to the powerful Mizutsune helmet, we now have another piece of water attack gear that gives you a level 2. And this allows you to get level 4 with water and using the bow. Focus level 5 maxes out your ability to get to spread level 4 quickly. And this build provides a high level of water attack at level 4. Artful Dodger level 1 works well with the bow to get spread level 4 fast after perfect dodge. So after you perfect dodge, you get +2 levels, +2 blinks to your bow, so you just need to do 1 more charge and then you can fire at level 4. Sadly, the Mizutsune bow does not have any special charge level for damage levels. It's just like every other regular bow, where you must get to 3 blinks, which is the max, before you can hit at level 4 damage. To use this build, you must have the Mizutsune bow at grade 10 or as high as you have it, the Mizutsune helmet at grade 6, the Nightshade Paolumu mail at grade 8, the Gyrototis vambraces at grade 6, the Rathalos coil at grade 6, and the Gyrototis Greaves at grade 6. Hopefully this guide helps you decide what build to use with your Mizutsune weapon. Now the thing about this is I didn't cover everything in here because the gun lance might not be worth building unless you are an expert and use both Wormstake shot and everything else the gun lance has to offer. For charge shot purely, the best is Devil Joe, but in order for you to do well overall with the gun lance in general, you must use a combination of Wormstake shot and everything else the gun lance has. So if you're lazy, charge shot purely. If you're not and you're an expert, you're using everything. And the charge blade also has impact files, so take that in consideration even though it does have 20% affinity at grade 10. So another thing about the Mizutsune weapons, the charge blade has impact files, which a lot of people don't like. But the thing about it is you still have that 20% affinity boost for all your other attacks. So it might actually be worth building for the charge blade. However, we're going to have to do more testing, etc. to figure out if it really is to your liking versus the water files, the elemental files. Because again, you still get that 20% affinity for all your other attacks. Please do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Hopefully you killed plenty of Mizutsune and used its weapons or hunted a bunch of Nightshade Palumu. If you paid for the paid pick event, hopefully you had a good one. Or if you used one of your friends to buy the paid ticket and then he helped y'all out with the rest of the group hunts by giving you Nightshade Palumus, etc. Hopefully y'all had a ton of fun. Good luck on your grinds, hopefully you got a ton of good drops, and I will see y'all on the next video.